back on there. If you was Instagram live, or if you was following from the Instagram live. So I'm talking about the three of spades, and where I left out from was I was talking about systems and the three of spades. So let me wait for a few other people to get back in here making. So I am record. It is recording now. So hopefully, if it does not let me say this recording, I'll record this again. Okay. So I apologize. Let me go back to where I kind of picked up off of from was the three of spades, and I'll talk about its issues, okay, with employees and people and accountability, and having to get or working with systems, right? When it comes to working relationships and creating relationships with people, the three of spades has to understand to create systems. Okay, so with the Jack of Diamonds, we talk about employment values and working with people, right, and using a sense of creativity and coming up with ways to schedule or work relationships. Because, like I said, the relationships with the three of spades, they can come and go, right? They can come into alignment with people that came to meet them and to complete a particular mission within life, so within these particular relationships, and people may come and go, they may have fast relationships with people. So over time they realize and understand that they must create relationships, and understand they must gain wisdom and create systems. Okay. Also systems around prayer and faith as well. Okay, that gets them through particular tough times with tough relationships or tough things with people. But when it comes to working and building and organizing and technology, Three Space is one of the cards that's going to help out the Jack of Diamonds of creating systems and coming up with intriguing or creative ways around broadcasting and completing a particular mission, making sure it's upholding and valuing these particular relationships it has with people. Okay, so like I said, you get a very creative, artistic person, goal setting, and working on accountability. Okay, so how do you hold someone accountable? How do people hold you accountable at work? They have a work system, right? There's a form of technology that they use to hold you accountable and making sure that you're showing up, making sure that you're giving your full effort, and making sure that you're completing your mission at work, right? So that's what the three of spades should do, and things that it should evolve into knowing how to do is creating systems with people and relationships with people, and knowing how to hold people accountable, right? So with this particular card, like I've been saying, that reaping the rewards that you sow. All right. So with it in Saturn and Jupiter, um, you know, so that's discipline. Now Saturn also takes resting periods, because with the three of spades you can overwork yourself. So within these particular systems, three of spades know that you should take breaks sometimes, right? So you don't want to go into a situation where you're overexhausting your energy, as I was saying, into things that does not or will not, that just winds up getting you into more debt than you were before, overexhausting yourself and getting yourself into an energetic debt, and wasting time and wasting energy onto things or matters that aren't going to pay you. Okay, so again, that goes into, like I said, making sure you're fully aware, holding people accountable, and gaining systems. All right, it's going to help you expand yourself, making sure that you're communicating. Like I said, the three of spades go into art and entertainment. Now you have those funnels, you know, and these for particular funnels, you go in, put in all your information, and through that, the three of spades is aware of who you are, your mission, and knowing that you are in alignment with them. If not, they just gonna go out and hire anybody, not going through someone's resume, not holding one accountable for the work and passion, because once the three of spades get into an area, get into something, you gotta make sure that you're dedicated, that you're fully in love, and you're fully enthused with the things that you're doing, because they're putting their heart into it, they're putting their all into it, they're gonna work you to death because they see what they're doing as a benefit to others, and they seeing how much they're helping and healing people. They're not thinking about filling their own cup at times. Okay, so once you get into involvement with the three of spades, you got to make sure you're dedicated. They're going to hold you accountable for the debt that you have with yourself and around that particular energy. So around this time where you had that card in Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, no matter where you had it, that's where you're going to be tested around those particular principles. Are you in this, and do you love what you're doing, right? And that's what we hold and how we value our spiritual missions, right? Based on the love, the unconditional love that we give to the work that we do, all right? So with this particular, as I was talking about systems earlier, through space, holding people accountable, learning, engaging, and guiding people, and making sure that you're being aware, informed, asking the right questions, analyzing people. All right. So being completely optimistic and overly optimistic of people, thinking that everyone is coming to stick around and stay around, but people are just showing up to the job just to complete a mission. They're there to do what they have to do and leave. That's how you know when you're overworking yourself, or you're using the third space or your work or your labor in a low variant, where you're not really vibrating high with that particular energy. You're going to feel it when the third space come, because you're going to be exhausted, and you're probably going to want to leave your job around that time period. So with that third space, when third space come up, you're gonna know it's time to leave this job. Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel tired? Why do I don't want to go to work? What is it that you're doing that you're not getting paid for? What is it that you're doing where you don't feel valued? All right. So that's how that energy is coming about. So with the third space, that a humanitarian, so they're going to test you in the areas, and do you really do this? Would you do this for free? Would you give your all? Would you give your passion? Would you give the love? The Nine of Hearts is also the card for pets. So it's like that love that you have for your dog. Your dog live in your house for free. How many of us would be working or doing certain things for free? So that's one thing with the third spade. That's why they have an issue with getting paid for what they do, because they put so much love, and they put so much love in what they do. They may not even see it as a job. They may not see what they're doing as what they're doing is giving from a point of they're actually healing and helping people within their inner spirit, and raising other people value as well. All right. So like I said, that card is also the artist, so a lot of times we can get lost in Neptune, right? We can get lost in these particular energies of knowing our passion, knowing where we want to go, being overly optimistic, So like, as I was saying earlier, the third space must create systems, and must make sure that it's not wasting time, and make sure that it's valuing itself and valuing the things and people around it. All right, so making the proper judgment, making sure that it's not making poor judgment about people, making sure it's not being judgmental about people, and really helping people and changing their values. Okay. So the home life, or the Venus or the moon, the way that the three of spades may relate with people is that seven of clubs. And that's one of the reasons I was talking about the systems, because the three of spades, when you run into it, it's going to be that loving energy. Is almost like the initiate, or you gaining a certain amount of information and knowledge, or you being introduced to maybe the art of prayer. You being introduced, or a third space may have these particular things around their home, like quotes and sayings, if a three of spades, you ever walked in the office, you always know the person that has like that three of spades energy, or the person that is overly dedicated to their work, overly dedicated to their passion, because they're going to have quotes, and words of inspiration around the office, things that they've overcame, things that kind of push them forward in life, So, and the three of spades, like I said, is a card that should, in the Jack of Diamonds, it has issues with employing other people. So how do you get over that? Giving words of wisdom and inspiration to your employees, right? Like I said, creating systems, creating belief systems for people, giving people inspiration, inspiring other people. That's what that Nine of Hearts is about as well. Inspiring. That's what the nine's about: inspiration, creating, and enjoying your work and enjoying your lifestyle. Okay, so as I was saying, so with that three of spades, or heavy work attitude, or the lifestyle, with the Jack of Diamonds, third of spades, you can get someone that's very inspirational, giving words of wisdom, giving out quotes. You know, Thank you. Um, So you can really gauge and guide someone, and that can almost be the how you can gain employment, right? The third space in economics, like I said, the indecisions with people in employment. So how do you engage and guide people? How do you inspire people to do and wake up to do their job every day? How do you inspire someone to come to work and doing something they may not want to do? They may have to do just now at that particular time to get out of debt, or they're in a financial rut. Find words of inspiration, right? Find your purpose, or find what it is that's pushing you to do what you need to do to get past this particular day, and make sure that it's outside of yourself. The Seven of Clubs is thinking towards the future, it's thinking outside of yourself. It's also another card that's giving and helping other people through the art of thought, okay, through the art of inspiration, through words of wisdom, and making people think critically about who they are and what they are, and where they're doing, and higher values of life. Okay. The only challenge about the Seven of Clubs is the values of overcoming obstacles. So it gets to a point where you're trying to look to overcome maybe financial obstacles, or just particular values you hold within life that may be defeating you. That can be about yourself, can be about your family. Um, a range of things, your child, or having issues about, just the way that you see certain things that need to be corrected on a universal level, seeing issues within politics, that goes into politics, or things that you see that need to be changed within school or education, okay? So the Three of Clubs is in the Three of Spades with that Seven of Clubs can be a revolutionary to thought, a revolutionary to the things that may need to be changed, okay? Introducing people into a new form of thought or information, and challenging or being challenged, especially maybe by women, or maybe people in your family, or by feminine energy, bringing a different perspective about how you deal with the particular things, domestic disputes, and things of that nature, right? I always say the Three of Spades also card, or that Seven of Clubs, 27 clubs, and Three of Spades, social welfare, looking at the social welfare of other people, understanding the social welfare, or with the work ethic, understanding how to get people or push people, and being, like I said, the inspiration, being able to change or think critical about certain things. So the Seven of Clubs is prayer mantras. So it goes into someone that creates songs or can write songs that can be very motivating, or creating headlines, to gaining attention, or being famous for the words that they may say, or being, like I said, the person that you being talked about around the workplace, almost, right? Being able to be that person that going around and changing the spirit of everyone else. So, like I said, creating systems and creating words and patterns of inspiration, introducing to people, and overcoming obstacles that they may have. Having these quotes around your office, around your home, around your workplace that help you with these things. Like I said, Cardology can be used as a science, as a form of metaphysics, just understanding basic principles that we have, and we go through life. So thank you. And this is dedicated to Miss J. Murray, thank you, who was here, and a few of y'all gave donations that night, so I really appreciate it. Just while I'm back going over this particular card, this was brought up. So, and also the Seven of Clubs is also that card I say as far as like intervention. Having the intervention when something need to be changed around the workplace, something needs to be changed. Three of Spades, speak up. You're that person that can point that out. Being that reference, and just knowing when change need to be happen, or being that interventionist, coming in and taking the opportunity. Yeah, and actually it didn't say when I crashed, but yeah, I definitely. Hopefully this is also recorded. If not, I'll re-record it. I did. I kind of know this already, I guess you can say. So if it doesn't say properly, I'll re-record it for you and put it up on the podcast as well. If you are on Clubhouse, this will be podcasted. So if you cannot make a donation, just click on the podcast and click on the stream, and I appreciate it. Podcast is less talk HH or Holistic Cards and Health. So you can click on my bio on Instagram and click on podcast, and it should come up there. So if it doesn't come up, if nothing, I was just talking a few minutes earlier, if that doesn't come up, I will re-record everything, and so it will be available for later. So thank you for clicking on the podcast and being engaged. Okay, if you don't want to book a reading, I know everyone may not want a reading or can book a reading on donations or clicking on any publicized YouTube or podcast material is also giving back to me and showing that you value the information. If there's anything that you need or want, make sure you do DM me for requests as well. And requests will be responded by, if there's no donation, I will put it on a public platform as well. I have been called or asked to do what is that other thing you have to pay for? But I think I'm going to do OnlyFans. I may create an OnlyFans for certain people who have specific questions and that wants to, that, that's kind of like, that one question a month type of thing, I guess, or one question a week. If you have a question you want me to answer, I'll put it on my OnlyFans as well. So I really appreciate it. So laws and values and principles, information being challenged within the workplace or home, and maybe being challenged by women or sources, points of authority, or also being infamous or famed by the things that you may say, things you may be speaking about, and about the social work and spiritual work that you do, right? Or your enthusiasm about information and looking at things from a different point of view, bringing a spin. And like I said, a dreamer as well. I was pointing out earlier about the cards that have those Spades and Neptunes are definitely have this sense of dreaming, prophetic wisdom about them, this particular nature. Between the Nine of Spades, Queen of Diamonds, Three of Spades, King of Clubs, the Queen of Clubs, said that already, the King of Diamonds, yep, and the Ten of Diamonds, and the Three of Spades all have Spades and Neptune. So you really want to look at those particular cards. Oh yeah, the Three of Diamonds, as well as the ability to dream or have prophetic visions or wisdom that may come out of nowhere, right? So looking at those particular cards and looking at the visions and dreams they may have. And the Two of Clubs, speaking or recognizing or trying to recollect those dreams or save them, right? Or trying to bring those out into the forefront. So fighting poverty, okay? Also with the Three of Spades, a humanitarian, like I said, between the Nine of Hearts, with that Nine of Hearts, Nine of Diamonds, fighting poverty, being a humanitarian, having this particular giving nature about itself, being able to, like I said, uplift other people's spirit and being a fighter, like I said, being an emphasis for change. An outlaw, like I said, with that Seven of Clubs as well. That's for the Three of Spades and the Seven of Clubs. Being an outlaw or activist for women or people that's in need or that are in impoverished situations. So with the Three of Spades, they're going to come in like, yo, what we need to do to get this shit done. Pardon my language, right? What we need to do to get this done. What is it that we're actually doing around this place to help these people? How are we changing these particular laws or laws between or workforce, right? So how are we taking care of the people? How are people getting paid? Like I said, Third Spades should always and never be worried about getting paid and making sure that they're getting paid for the work they're doing. So a lot of times with a particular things, you have nonprofits, you have a lot of times when you get social activists, there's a challenge with making money or raising money for these particular things and for these things of need or changing law. So that can be a challenge, going into these particular things or something. Whenever Third Spades gets into it, the frustrations can be behind raising money or gaining support or help from people that may be challenging the things that they see that needs to be changed. Because everyone doesn't see or want things to change. Some people are stuck in Saturn. People are stuck with the old and don't want to settle with the new, okay? But that's not what Seven of Clubs is doing. It's saying that there's change that needs to be needed in this particular situation or this area, and this was my observation So how do we do it? All right, that's based upon the values and challenging values and overcoming those particular values. You're right. So that can be frustrating, as far as, the raising the money or changing or getting people to see the value in those particular things, And just kind of, I wouldn't say make it worse, but for the 3 of spades, but the 5 of diamonds and Mars. So with that 5 of diamonds there, that puts you in a situation you have to be fully optimistic. You have to be a warrior. You have to be defining, especially fighting, like I said, fighting poverty, fighting money challenges, with also investing and taking advice as far as how you invest your money, right? So taking on a financial advisor would be advised, and seeing how you can distribute and looking at different ways to invest in your money or raising money for other people as well, possibly, or having the ability to, but looking at different situations and changes. When you get someone that's politically active, or you get someone that is raising money, or you get someone that or challenges as far as creating value around people, you have to be creative. You have to go out and seek, how do you do these particular things? How do you make money? What are different ways I can raise money, or what are different ways that I can take advantage of banking systems, right? So looking at that, you have to look at investing money and looking at the exchanges. So for me, I'm a 3 of diamonds, so I find myself able to, or I kind of find it easy sometimes as far as being financially creative or trying to be financially creative. Like I said, I probably set 3 or 4 different platforms that you can find me on to kind of help myself financially through these particular forms: podcasting, YouTube, OnlyFans. I'm not doing anything on OnlyFans that you couldn't show, I guess, 18-year-old, FYI. But no, seriously though. But I'm a dreamer. I have that 9 of spades. So for me, I'm always looking at different ways to make money and looking towards the future, and using financial creativity, looking at advancing myself. But I have the Queen of Diamonds helping me. So the 3 of spades does not have the Queen of Diamonds. The Queen of Diamonds is behind the 3 of spades. And actually, the thing that helps the Queen of Diamonds is the 9 of diamonds is actually the challenge for the 5 of diamonds. So you have to look at that complex for the 3 of spades, right? And that's the Jack of diamonds helping it, as far as creativity, having the vision. But the Jack of diamonds has employment opportunity issues. So they may have issues in the workplace. They may have issues with raising people or getting people to see the value that it has, because it's thinking towards the future. People may not see what the Jack of Diamonds may see at this particular time. Because it may be having issues with raising money or getting money, or being financially challenged in certain ways. So how do you get people to value what you value, and seeing the vision that you have, right? And knowing that where I'm putting my money at now may not be or seemingly profitable now, but later on you're going to wish you had this, right? So the 5 of diamonds should seek multiple people. It should seek a group of counselors, a group of people or advisors that kind of help it, to raise money, or looking at different options. Definitely making sure that it's, I would say, between the Ace of Hearts, I believe the Ace of Hearts should also seek financial advice and seek control of their finances. But when it does, it has to make sure it's educated. But until it gets properly educated, it should probably get somebody else to kind of handle their finances sometimes. So you want to make sure that whenever you're looking at your finances, that you're not spending it and just wasting it and gambling, so making sure that you gaining a proper return on your investments. And building out a business plan with the 5 of diamonds is planned, right? So writing out a plan, making sure that you're practical about your plan, making sure that within your particular plan that you're doing has been tried, been through trials and tests, and you're not wasting money, right, with that 9 of diamonds. So there's particular challenges around money or gaining, or the access to money, or maybe spending too much. So having a dependable income, right? With that through the Spades. So the way you invest and seek um, coaching around your finances. So having a financial coach and advisor around you at certain points of time would be beneficial. So if you have a three of spades in your lineup, these are people that may come to you. You know, you may be optimistic and looking at different ways you can invest your money around business. Look at Dame Dash. You know, so he's very aggressive. Mercury, Venus, Mars. He's very aggressive with business with that five of diamonds. So I advise a three of spades to be aggressive in business, but just making sure that it's investing in the right places and seeking counselship or advisory and running the idea across multiple people, right? Running your ideas and making sure that you're getting the opinions of others and writing things down. The three of clubs is the master of manifestations through writing, okay? Three of spades is the master of manifestation through acting. When I say acting, I mean actually like running around your house and acting out what you want to do and watching it come into fruition maybe later on and just running with that spirit, you know? So the spirit of acting and vocalizing, of vocation, of wishing, so vocalizing, and so through space, you just open your mouth and wish, and whatever you wish for could come to pass, right? So making sure that you're actually writing out your ideas and your business, the things that you want, because you know it's for you. You see the vision, you know how to do it, you know how to manifest it. So I had a three space in Jupiter at 27, I believe 26. You probably would have thought I was crazy the way I was walking around my house talking to myself and visualizing the things that I want and writing the things that I wanted down and writing out the business plan that I had, making sure my finances were okay, seeing where these finances was going to come from. You know, those are the things that you want to do when you have this particular energy, all right? Because yeah, I know. Yeah, you would have thought I was crazy. But I don't know. That's what I was just led to do. I just had this energy, and it came to pass. You know, the things I wanted to do, things I was thinking about, dreaming about, and my plan was actually the finances actually didn't go as planned, but it's okay because I actually did it in the spirit of giving back. So yeah, I did have the five of diamonds in Mars, so it wasn't the best financial situation, but using that energy that I had, if I had money on reserve, that three of spades, having money on reserve as well, making sure you're putting up money for later on. So that's that six of diamonds, the saving money, challenges with saving money, making sure you have money as well for a later opportunity. So if I had put up some money and made sure I saved and didn't waste it into senseless places, which I did in that particular year. I did spend money in particular places as well that I shouldn't have. I did gamble a lot. My three spaces now. Yeah, I did gamble a lot around that particular business, around that investment. And it was, I guess you can say, like I said, three spades goes to art, entertainment, acting. I eventually did post that video on YouTube. So what you're doing now, seeing how you can manifest or possibly use your written or your documented material to be sold later. You know, if it's not being sold now, looking at the opportunity of making or seeing the business opportunities or expanding around that particular sector or job sector in multiple ways, not just one way, right? That's definitely the Jack of Diamonds. A Jack of Diamonds will buy a dump truck, use that dump truck for his lawn service, then use that dump truck for his cutting tree business, and then also use that dump truck to haul off mulch. He just made money off that dump truck in 3 to 5 different ways, hauling off mulch, for a construction company, hauling off housing or material, and then what's another way that we were? Dang, what else did we do? I'm speaking this from experience as well. Um, Gosh, I forgot. But 5 different ways how you use that dump truck, right? He bought that. He used that job. He didn't just have one job. He got that job, that dump truck, and used it 5 different ways. So thinking about how many times you can profit off of your things that you have that's of value, right? That's Mars. So being financially creative around what you're creating, and seeing the opportunities that you have, and making sure that you're being a visionary, and like I said, completing that plan, right? Because after that, you got the Queen of Spades, right? Mars on Jupiter. So you have the Queen of Spades right there. So you having the Queen of Spades, um, with that gives you the ability, like I said, to manifest anything you want, especially if you speak about it. That also gives you the ability to have very powerful women around you, very, very powerful women around you that's going to educate you, take the time to educate you. The Three of Spades can be very cute, adoring, so it's like, your grandmother having that lovable little kid that they always wanted, because they're interested in just helping and healing the world. And it's like, oh my gosh, you was a blessing, because you actually care. So let me educate you, let me give you the tools, let me give you the wisdom to take on, to actually manifest and use the things and help and heal other people, right? So the Queen of Spades also is real estate, but I do say the Three of Spades should not invest into real estate, because of that Nine of Diamonds. But with that Queen of Spades, I feel that you're protected in those areas as well, though. Okay, so it can benefit you as far as property or gaining property, but it may be tough or challenges. But you just have to make sure that there's a return in your investment. You're investing for a long-term value and not for a quick return. Okay, so investing into a property or long-term property also make like a hospital, something that's going to help you, or you have that gain over time, right? So it goes into nursing as well. Like, so if the space is going to nursing, having the chief doctor or head nurse would take the third space as his under his wing, or befriend them, and give them the information and knowledge that they need to create the environment, or create a healthy environment for them and everyone else around them. Okay, that's going to help them overcome the financial issues. So seeking, whenever I see the Queen of Spades and King of Spades, and in any position, that's you having the ability to seek out the master of that particular field. Okay, so seeking out the master within for that Queen of Spades. So if you're going to real estate, or if you're going to medicine or those particular fields, seeking out the best in those particular fields, and they're giving you, or introducing you and giving you the knowledge to become a master of yourself. Okay, so you're a master healer, being able to become a master healer, or having those particular abilities to help and heal other people as well, whether that be financially, health wise, but overcoming any particular obstacle through the fields of education, or gaining a proper education within those fields. Right? And it also can lead you to be very stubborn, but within your stubbornness is because you're looking for the light. You're looking for the help, and you're trying to help and heal people. But you just have to understand that there's different ways to help and to heal other people, and accepting and understanding the ways of other people. All right. So also, like I said, acquiring multiple businesses, being very optimistic, and having an empire, wanting to build an empire of having all these powerful people amongst you, being a sense of royalty in the entertainment business. So Mercury, Uranus, that goes into entertainment as well, television, and those particular things as well, or communication, fields of communication. So, like I said, if you were going to activism with that Seven of Clubs, I always say the Seven of Clubs is 27 of Clubs and the Queen of Spades, being an activist, because you have someone that has a certain amount of wisdom that they hold, a certain amount of power, and they came to kind of help other people, to overcome particular obstacles they may have in life, unexpected issues or unexpected obstacles as well, right? So with the Jack of Clubs and Saturn, that's going to help you bring it all the way around, right? To really, between the Seven of Clubs and the Jack of Clubs, that goes into your train of thought, your using your intuition, Okay, having a sense of intelligence and higher wisdom and the ability to express yourself. With Venus and Uranus, unusual, weird, or strange relationships, right? But with that, you want to look at those particular relationships as seemingly uncommon, but there's a particular mission and cause, to help those that are less fortunate, or being able to educate and help people that are needing to be healed, right? That whenever you have the Jack of Clubs, it also goes into someone that sees changes that needs to be made in the community as well. Poet, activist. Like I said, between the Seven of Clubs, Queen of Spades, and the Jack of Clubs, being an activist. If you look at the energy of Nipsey Hussle and the energy that he came with, right? He was an activist. He was a person that came, and when he came, you knew that. He was very passionate about those who was less fortunate than him. His family, the people that were around him held a certain amount of importance, and the love that he had. He just wanted to make sure that everyone was okay and social, and gather people around him, give them a certain amount of love and spirit that they probably never seen or had before. He was definitely a businessman and a creator, right? So between the Nine of Diamonds, Jack of Clubs, someone that is a social activist, or a person that is looking at how to create opportunities for others, right? So this also puts you in a position where you shouldn't. The Three of Spades does worry a lot, but because of the Jack of Clubs there, you should overcome those particular worries, and the more that you get educated, the less worrisome that you become over time. Okay, so becoming proficient, very knowledgeable in different cultures as well, making sure that you're exploring different cultures, making sure that you, not just cultures, but religions, philosophies, right? So becoming well studied in different texts, and religious texts, and philosophies, all right? Becoming a student within those particular texts and forms, and gaining knowledge. So with the Nine of Diamonds, I was talking about investing with the Three of Spades. So you probably shouldn't invest into real estate, or trying to make short investments. So what you want to make sure that you focus on is making long-term investments, and making sure that you're handling your money, that can also go into how you spend money on friends and family, making sure that you're not spending too much money for those people that are in need, because you are very sympathetic. People may take advantage of you, right? So making sure that people aren't taking advantage of your humanitarian aspect that you have about yourself, and making sure that you're not becoming in debt based on the things that other people may need as well. And not letting people take advantage of you, especially within relationships, right? Because the way that you hold yourself. But for you, you can spend all your money on the calls, right? I was saying earlier that the Seven of Clubs has a cause, and Three of Spades is going to follow and probably spend their money trying to help them out, right? So making sure that you're not spending too much money, and like I said, that you be profitable off of the efforts that you put in, all right? But it can lead you and take you into gaining or trying to gain funds, or funding, or seeking funding, or working over to overcome challenges as far as debt as well. So with that Seven of Spades also in Neptune, that goes into your spiritual work. So I always say the Seven of Spades is a spiritual worker, all right, for one. So you definitely is a person that has a particular aspect of meeting people between different realms. I would say, when I say different realms, between life and death, and between them gaining on and taking on different spiritual applications, becoming or overcoming a type of sickness or health issues that they may have. So, hey, peace, how you doing? I was just thinking about you the other day. So I'll DM you. So that goes into speaking, talking to people that are challenged within their health. Also with Neptune, I have not been talking about the different sides. So the other side of Neptune is also Saturn. So there's this delusion, right? Or so we know that Saturn holds back certain things. So for yourself, you're not seeing or not believing, having to have a certain amount of faith, and making sure that you overcome your own obstacles spiritually, right? And witnessing your own spiritual challenges. Therefore, once you do realize that and overcome these things, you're able to help other people. So now you become that spiritual guru and that spiritual worker for other people as well. And using that Neptune and the test that you've been through as a conduit for other people. So, well, again, the cards that I see that have the space and Neptune are visionaries as well, and also being able to see, like I said, onto other realms almost. Being a traveler and through different spiritual realms. So it may seem, because the Seven of Spades, I don't know if too many people know Seven of Spades, but um, if you get around them, they may be talking about their vision or having dreams or having intuition, a certain amount of intuition and dreams that come from a spiritual context. Okay, so having faith in the unseen or having faith about things that you may not see as well. So overcoming particular challenges about passing or through life and death as well through those particular realms. Yeah, said my mom is a Seven of Spades. And she, your mom being a Seven of Spades, how is she as far as like spiritually? Sometimes I think some people that are like really spiritually aware, um, sometimes they take on these things naturally. Kind of like I think sometimes certain Capricorns, and they don't speak about it and speak about it like it's from a natural context or standpoint. And also, do she wear glasses as well, or what's up with her vision and her health also, right? So a lot of times with the Seven of Spades, there's defects or challenges within their health, all right? So with the Seven of Spades, having the ability to really tap into, with the Three of Spades, having the ability to really tap into those particular things and find purpose around the defects. Okay. So what I will go into next, she's learning through me. She's a Cap too. That's good. That's good because Seven of Spades, you don't want to take on the worries internally because it will show through your body, through your sickness, and you will they'll show their worry, through their physical health. So that also goes into wealth. Also, I was talking about transportation and medicine as well, or being a person that can go into healing centers and those things, or being a observer of other spiritual practices. Whenever Seven in Space may observe more than it may sometimes with those sevens you get someone that can be I don't want to say a dictator, or one that's like very picky almost, or observing and judging people. So you don't want to get that Saturn of them trying to like judge other people as well. So being the spiritual judge, right, or being that person, like I said, with that person that's going to be able to observe, becoming informed, using that Jack of Clubs, and being informed about other spiritual practices, and being able to show that to other people. So being a guru, gaining that knowledge for other people. So being, like I said, a spiritual guide or instructor through people's transformations, right? So that I'm like physical transformations that they have, and it's spiritual transformations, right? That also goes into a Three of Spades, like I said, through that particular, that can be a time period where you have to go to the doctor or something, or seeking a physician, so there's particular changes within your health, or getting observing different ways you can challenge or being challenged within your health, right? Having to seek the advice of other people. Yeah, this is true. I've been doing so much research, and I always base it with a kind heart. Yeah, Three of Spades and Nine of Hearts, right? So goes into healing. So the days for the Three of Spades, and some things around the birth dates. So I'll probably be here about 10 more minutes, maybe going through these. I will post this. I'll probably have to re-record this because I ended this. So if this is not up onto my podcast today, it will be up tomorrow, and I will re-record this. And to be honest, I may do another room for those people that missed this through Clubhouse. So I may do another room on this first thing in the morning so I can record it. It may not be up on the Instagram live. I'm going to make sure I save this part of the Instagram live because I didn't save the first part, which is okay. That's fine. So that everything will not be full on the Instagram live, but it should be full on the podcast. So I appreciate you all for all your support. If you don't make any donations or you cannot, you can just click on the podcast and support me that way and subscribe. Okay, so I appreciate it. If you do want to make a donation, do make one by PayPal or request a full reading as well. I am available. There is one person, I have missed a few people, a lot of time, that's one thing I want to look at. If I have missed a reading or we didn't get something scheduled or we missed something scheduled, if it was my fault or yours, I want to look at that astrologically, just see what it was or the hindrances or what was causing it. But if you're booking a reading, all the readings will be through my booking app. Nothing is paid for until the day of the reading and the reading takes place. So we do not miss and you don't prepay for something that doesn't come up. So I truly apologize. If you prepaid for anything and we missed out and I have to refund you and you just didn't have time and you're frustrated. No, life happens. It's fine. I completely understand. I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to give you something of value. So I totally apologize if we didn't get to anything scheduled. But cracking down more on making sure that you're also responsible for your scheduled booking as well. Okay, so making sure that you have my number and reaching out at those particular times also, because sometimes people I show up for a reading somebody and they don't show up, so and that's totally understandable. With my one-on-one classes, I work in that nature where you're responsible for your time. If you miss it or I miss it, we reschedule and we hook up a different time. So life is timing events. Everyone has, you have something that you have going on. I have something, you have things that's important to you. So I'm totally understandable. I'm not here to take anything or hold you to anything. So if there's anything, everything in this time in this world can be rescheduled, just be thankful that we woke up to reschedule, right? So I appreciate it. So going into the Three of Spades birthdays and some of the characteristics for them, right? So, excuse me, January the 11th, off top, January 11th, you see that 11, right? 11, 11, the Jack of Clubs, right? So with January 11th, the ruler of the Jack of Clubs, like I was saying, the education, inspiration, you want to look out for your nervous system, having a broke down nervous system, making sure you're seeking any particular health around your memory as well, with that, or having particular issues around maybe your speech, trying to put things together or having, just nervous nature around you. So make sure you get very comfortable with speaking in front of people because you're going to be demanded to. You're going to be demanded to become a activist or social entrepreneur in some type of work or capacity, maybe dealing with law or dealing with or encountering lawsuits at any point in time or government jobs. Also can go into entertainment. Jack of Clubs is the card for hip hop, so very well known, very artistic, and very well spoken, right? So being a chatty patty, maybe talking a lot, so with that, like I said, you're a representation of higher morals and higher laws. Whenever you have these jacks, these queens, kings, there's a amount of responsibility. You can fleet your responsibility, as a jack, but it's not going to do you well. You can fleet your responsibility being an ace through a 10, ace what through a 10. But with the jacks, they feel it a lot worse, or with the kings and queens, you feel it a lot worse, because people come to you more, so you feel this social responsibility or this need to do charitable things in some type of form of fashion, be a teacher or carry yourself a certain type of way. Or if you're displacing these cards, this is the energy that it can withhold or stand for you. But the Jack of Hearts, Jack of Clubs, is a warrior as well. So having this particular energy around it that is a warrior and being a outlaw. Okay, making sure that you're not insecure about your thoughts and the things and how you serve people. Okay, so you're a person and the energy that is here to help people and to serve the people in the mental field, psychology, law, whatever that may be. You're in the public eye as a speaker, as a point of authoritative, and a person, a go-to person, right? But making sure, like I said, that you adapted and educated yourself around these particular things, and you're not insecure about, especially insecure about your finances, because a lot of times we don't feel like we can help anybody if our finances aren't okay. But that's not true, because your education and your thoughts and your opinions is really what makes you valuable. Some people, I've given advice to people with millions of dollars, but I'm not necessarily a millionaire yet, right? The information that I have is that valuable, all right? And actually, my friend Christian Lumber, he'll tell you all the time, I'm the one that actually introduced him to real estate in a certain way. He went on to make millions from it, right? At that particular time period, I was working with my cousin and trying to build his business up. He was Jack of Diamonds, and getting my T-shirt company off the way. But he went to real estate, but he already had right. He already had a certain amount of experience, so the information I had was just like a add-on for him. He just took advantage because he was already practicing these things. Okay, so I have to go back and get more information from him. So that's how you use your information, using your knowledge, making sure you're confident about the things you speak and about the discord that you have with people. February the 9th, Three of Spades, the ruler of Venus and Nine of Diamonds, right? One of my favorite, actually, I ran into this particular card last year. She actually had me as her moon card. If you ever do my readings, sometimes I do go back and look at the exact time that we did meet up, or we had a reading, and see if it was in each other's spread, maybe in the weekly. And sometimes I am in the people that I do read spread. So that's always a key for me, of showing how our relationship, or what is it that you're getting out of this reading, or what's the relationship that we have, right? So sometimes I do get that, or if you do take classes, you can actually, I'll teach you and show you how to look at that for yourself. What's going on, Key? Yes, I'm 29. So, hey, Savannah. So 29, I bring that up, and I go over that briefly with you since you came up, and you all donated. I guess you would say you donated for her. So I really appreciate you all. Like I said, the more support I get, the more I'll be up here. I guess I'm in my third space moment, right? If I'm up here, I want to make sure I get supported financially and that you value this information. And my readings are like $175, but donations or particular questions or topics, just DM me and hit the Cash App or PayPal. And like I said, I do one-on-one classes as well. Also, so one second, I'm trying to find sheet 29. And if you're wondering if you're on Clubhouse, I am live on Instagram. I do have the spreadsheets for particular ages. Is how we do readings. Is through the ages and looking at particular ages. And so what I would do. I cannot find it, so that's fine. I can't find it right now, but I'm sorry. I'll take a look at it. I'll do it something separate. So February 9th, so Venus, right? Financial stability, okay? Financial stability. Using your intuition, a giver, okay? Can become famous, or it can be considered famous, maybe amongst friends and family for the humanitarian attributes that you may have, okay? Social welfare. I always talk about the Three of Spades, and I was talking about Three of Spades earlier as far as the social welfare with that Nine of Diamonds. Your social welfare is giving values to others, and raising the value between yourself and others, or should be aggressively seeking and gaining value, okay? But you have to make sure that you don't give too much to your friends and family. Oh, 39, okay. So you got to make sure you don't give too much to your friends and family, okay? Or being a detriment or letting them be a detriment to you, right? So you gotta make sure you protect your energy, all right? Making sure that you're protecting your finances, and as I was saying earlier, that financial advice or seeking financial advice at a certain time, or you could be the financial advisor, right? Or of showing and guiding people where they should put their work and put their energy towards, as far as within their working environment. So the energy behind the Three of Spades is you reap what you sow, right? Also with that Six of Diamonds is reaping the efforts that you sow, you know? So with this particular energy and being at Nine of Diamond, being an entertainer as well, or possibly being an entertainer a certain amount of time. But that's crazy. I've been thinking of going to school for social work, but I also want to open up a marketplace where I can support other businesses within the marketplace. Yeah. Stop thinking and just do it. I'm telling you, stop thinking and just do it. So, hit me in my DM. We can talk about it. I don't know if you got a reading before, but I give you a discount for just being active and giving that feedback and following your dreams and your passion. Okay, so value one's skills, in the art that you have and being that advisor. A million ideas in one business LLC so far. Okay, that Nine of Diamonds. That's Kanye West card. Look at Kanye West. Look at how he aggressively attacks different businesses. They may not even have nothing to do with each other. The Five of Diamonds is going to bring it home and make everything connect. So that's the challenge. And where you can be helped at is using the Five of Diamonds and making those multiple business ideas connect into one social effort. But the challenge is the Queen of Diamonds is putting it all together and making sure that it's presented in that form and fashion, making sure it's presentable and everything looks great, and making sure everybody gets the message of what you're trying to do, right? And making sure that the social welfare and what you're trying to do isn't depleting you personally, financially as well, all right? So with that Nine of Diamonds, it's the humanitarian energy, all right, that February 11th. So you can be very well known, gaining or raising friends with other people. So you want to make sure the social network that you have is very has a certain amount of status and funding behind it. Okay, so you got to make sure you're working on the Eight of Diamonds of overcoming financial issues. All right, overcoming issues of gaining money or looking at raising money. All right, so looking at the Nine of Diamonds, there's a wealth or poverty standpoint that needs to be addressed, but there's definitely a depletion or you're afraid that you're not going to be able to financially support that particular issue or support that cause, right? But the Nine of Diamonds is going to figure it out. They're going to stand on stage and tell people that they need the money for this particular issue, right? So for you, we're going to work on it and looking at who do you know, what are particular advantages or government opportunities who may be giving out money, or what is the cause, underwriting, all those things. Those are the things, and going through the process that we're going to look at for you. So just DM me, and I'll definitely love to bounce some ideas off of you, and definitely give a discount. So thank you for participating. March the 7th, all right, and that's a Three of Spades, 7. Saturn, Neptune. So that's a 7 of Spades. I'm sorry, 3 of Spades, 7 of Spades, ruler, deacon ruler. So you must have a clear vision and faith. Okay, life is literally manifestation from your lifestyle, music, writing, health. The issues that you deal with, the everyday issues, the monotony or the particular health issues that you deal with every day could become your life or become your life's passion. Okay, that's dealing with health and healing other people, working at a hospice, or looking at photography or photographing people, or working in what do you call those people? Design, what are those people that build or draw out things for buildings and stuff? I actually heard it gosh, what's his name? He's on here all the time. And he said his brother does one, but blueprints, a person that maybe that could write like blueprints and things of that nature, having this vision, this insight, of being able to bring the things that you think about and speak about into a physical reality with your art and the way that you express yourself. Okay, that can also go into being isolated as well. Having to deal with moments of isolation, all right, and loneliness. With the Nine of Hearts, the Three of Spades and the Nine of Hearts, they don't want to be alone. Who wants to be alone, right? Architect, right? Thank you. No, with the Three of Spades and the Nine of Hearts, nobody wants to be alone, right? No one wants to go through life of being alone and not having people around you. But your spiritual transformation will come through you and to you through points of loneliness, right? That's when you're going to get those times and those dreams and those passions and can go around your house acting crazy. Like I said, I was literally going around my house acting out the things that I wanted to do and things I wanted to accomplish through the comforts of my own home and through that particular point of isolation. So my point of isolation was a critical point for me of seeing how I can manifest and bring my dreams into fruition. Because when you get your energy involved with other people, they can scramble your dreams, they can scramble the things that you manifest, they can talk and give you information and make you judge or become self-conscious. With the sevens, you become self-conscious. You become aware of not just yourself, but you become aware of others and their particular mission. And their particular mission, or you observing them, can internally alter or hinder you. So you want to make sure you're protecting your space, protecting your vision, and sometimes value the isolation that you have. If you're in a partnership, if you're in a relationship, seek points of isolation or seek a room with times where you can meditate. So group meditation is cool. That's the Eight of Hearts. Okay, so that may be a time period where you can seek group meditation. And actually for the Seven of Spades, that the art is within their home, with them gaining and going through these particular things. Later on, they can go through the Eight of Hearts and gain that wisdom, and their isolation and the things that open them up is actually their expression around other people. So that isolation they had all their life is actually what opened them up, and their observation and able to come around other people and being one of the people that was healed or helped the healing within groups, right? So for the Three of Spades, your healing is within isolation, right? Those particular time periods where you sleep, the dreams that you have, and actually, like I said, the realms going between the realms of life and death almost, because that Seven of Spades is I say a fire energy of you being reborn. It's actually the card of being reborn, okay, with that Seven of Spades. So the Seven of Spades is being reborn again. Is being aware and becoming aware of its purpose spiritually at this particular moment, and looking at this purpose that it has to fulfill for not just itself but for others. But it can get lost in its dependency and need for greed or a need for material things. And not recognizing and using its own metaphysical or psychic powers. I've gotten professed over or by a Seven of Spades. About my wealth. Everybody want to prophesize to me about how wealthy I am or how wealthy I'm going to be. I have to get there first, right? But through that journey, it's the purpose. It's the Seven of Spades, So using the effort of prophecy for yourself, put that prophecy within yourself, making sure you know and value yourself and knowing how much of a healer you are. And before you can also give that dream to everyone else, making sure you're okay internally and overcoming your internal sickness, and then once you do that, you may find that, wow, there's a lot more value that I have within myself than I may be seeing in everybody else, okay? So with your sevens, they love to give and help everybody else, but they must find that internal value a lot of times and making sure they value themselves and internalize their spiritual mission. So there's a revamping or the spiritual recognition of your spiritual mission when you come across. So you have the Seven of Spades in your 52 days, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. You all have these particular cards, and you're going to run around these cards. So I can be talking to the Three of Spades now, but I can also be talking to the Seven of Spades, okay? So with that particular energy, the seven spaces gives the three spaces vision, prophetic vision, and ability to heal and to see and seek through different worlds, and actually taking on cultures, being very cultured. When I say culture, between the nine of diamonds, jack of clubs, seven of spades, queen of clubs, queen of clubs, they like to travel, king of clubs, jack of diamonds, queen of hearts, all of those, six of clubs, like the love of culture is like, profound, seven of hearts, seven of diamonds also, because they're very observative. Four of diamonds, love, art, people, places. I don't know about as much like culture, but just the beauty, the aesthetics of things. So, but between the seven of spades is, jack plus is culture, understanding the faith, other people's systems of faith, okay? Understanding other people, what other people use, and understanding prayer, what those things are really used for. It's used to uplift your value. It's used to give you a certain amount of recognition within inside yourself, and it's also a healing thing. You heal through the nature of your heart. Without the heart, we do not heal. That's what the purpose of the heart is, to heal us, to give us a sense of livelihood. It's the blood that's running through your veins. Okay, so the seven of spades has the support of overcoming particular health issues by fixing the blood that's in their vein and giving themselves this particular wealth and type of healing. Right, the eight of hearts goes into Reiki. So remember, the eight of seven of spades has that support in it. All right. I'm sorry. So that goes into. Okay, I was going by the birthday. So April, that was Mars with the. So that was. I'm sorry, that was March the 7th. But from there, you see the March the 7th with that the ruler being Neptune with seven of spades. It has the seven. It's a quest, right? It's a spiritual quest, literally a spiritual quest. All right. So the spiritual quest is going to be represented through your music, through your art, through your talent. You're going to have this particular philosophy behind your seeker of wisdom, seeker of light. I don't know if someone look up Kevin Gates' birthday, because he's a seven of spades. So that's the representation of that seven of spades, and how that three of spades can be seen as well, okay, from that particular birthday. Or any of the three of spades, also, because you have that in your spread, it's just you tapping into it, okay. So April, March the 5th, and that's another infamous or famous, because its ruler would be the Mars, the five of diamonds, okay. So between the five of diamonds and nine of diamonds, you become infamous or famous in a certain sense, okay? February the 5th. It's Kevin Gates' birthday, yeah. So, yeah, look at Kevin Gates as a great representation of that particular energy. Just a second, because... February 9. Yeah, so February the 5th, 1986. Who is that? That's Kevin Gates' birthday. Was February the 5th. Age 35. Yeah, if you want, I will. Yeah, okay, yeah. I do something on Gates actually. He actually, seven of spades goes through betrayal as well. They go through traumatic situations of needing a lot of healing. With the Neptune energy, right, that can be very dark. That can be having to deal with the inevitable traumas of fate, having to deal with inevitable traumas of pain and sorrow and guilt, dealing with times of isolation, dealing with times of misery and pain, it's the reason why you need the eight of hearts in that particular location, is to overcome those things. So seven of spades can have to overcome those particular ills, right? So that's the connection between the three of spades and seven of spades. Also overcoming spiritual ills, or overcoming mental illness of being overly exhausted by other people's philosophies of what they think about you, and letting that determine your value that you have. But April the 5th, Mars is the ruler for this three of spades. So very, very aggressive within the investments, So very good as far as investing, as far as business-wise. Doesn't mind spending money on traveling, exploring the world, becoming a lot more cultured than what it is. And it goes into financial law as well. Could go into financial law or dealing with social services or financing needed for those particular areas. Plant manufacturers or jobs, okay, for this particular dates and these things. All right. The next, and also goes into movies, scripts, books, authors, politicians, because politicians love 29 of diamonds and 5 of diamonds that can go into politicians because you're looking at the essence of raising money. So you can get people that are trying to raise money for a particular cause. So between March, so for March, I'm sorry, not March, but April. I said March, didn't I? I meant to say April. So for this April 3 of spades, it goes into somebody that can go into politics or seeking political activists or trying to raise money for their particular cause or business for that 5 of diamonds, or exploring different ways to make money off a particular art form. All right. So with the May the 3rd is the next one, ruled by the moon, Venus. So that goes into another card that's also, or you can find in social welfare, or there can be controversy though as well. Maybe a debate or art dealer. If they're not creating art, more probably a dealer of the arts. Okay. They can also, for the Ace of Diamonds, if they're not creating art, they're more of an art dealer, or someone that's trying to make money off of a particular art form. So that's like having an art show, right, or something of that nature, for someone. So with this particular energy, you can have someone that is very, very moved and very socially aware of what people may be into as far as art wise, being a horticulturalist, I guess you can say. And look who comes up, Art by Tanisha, when I talk about art. So, hey, how you doing? I know, right? And especially with dealing art and making money off your art, right? So I know we've talked about those particular things. So definitely looking at the 3 of spades and seeing maybe that card for her, and looking at that card for you around this time period. Because that's Dame Dash, So that's what Dame does best. If you look at him, he's always looking at how to make money. You look at him, how he's trying to use reasonable doubt. He's always going to be thinking about the forward, like what are people looking at? What are people wanting to buy? So whenever you're looking at drawing and painting pictures, looking at that particular thing, you want to look at what's popular. What is popular? I know we look at why things, we want to be individuals, but sometimes looking at what people like and looking at what's popular, you're capturing time, and people are buying time. People want to, that's what art is. People are really buying a piece of time and valuing the moment, So looking at NFTs, it's a moment. Some of these NFTs probably going to be worth zero, years down the line. But right now, at this particular time, they're worth tons. So being an artist, sometimes you got to think towards the future as far as what people like, being able to get people's opinion, So other than debating what the 7 of clubs may do as far as debating, trying to gain or being worried about people's opinion, it should be thinking about how do it gain the popularity of the people, of being a politician. That's what a politician is gaining popularity. That's also being aware of the timing of now as well, because the timing of now is based on astrology. What we all are looking at, what we all are doing is kind of based on the astrology of things. So that's why some of these artists or these people in the past were geniuses, because they knew when the Renaissance, or they knew that Neptune was in Pisces. So people are going to want to visualize or have pictures or photos or art with spiritual context, with spiritual meanings, So within this time period, we have the Pluto-Neptune aspects, which, putting the finances and gaining finances through spiritual art forms or the spiritual welfare, and actually that can being a catalyst into the next opportunity as far as business, using that Aries, Neptune, For Neptune, Pluto, from Neptune being in the Pluto phase or being in the last phase of Pisces, that's ruled by Pluto. So, and then with our generation, Pluto and Scorpio taking advantage of these particular resources, you just have this renaissance, this art renaissance, right? Of people appreciating and spending and investing their money into these particular practices and means, and it's becoming revolutionary almost, right? So, but last but not least, we have the Three of Spades ruled by the Sun or Mercury, an expression of the Nine of Hearts. So with that, they can almost never be satisfied and being disappointed, right? So with the Three of Spades, they want to watch out how they're being disappointed or have particular relationships they're never satisfied from. Being unsatisfied because you're giving more than you're receiving, right? Making sure that you're valuable, reaping what you sow, not giving so much that you're not able to receive from a significant other. In certain aspects or certain forms, it's like taking care of a pet or a dog. Are you able to give money and take care of that pet? Because he's not going to give you nothing in return. You're going to spend your money and spend love onto him, and the only thing he can do is lick you on your face, right? So you have to accept that. So can you accept the pat on the back after you just gave your house and your home to somebody and they didn't appreciate it? So make sure you're not expending yourself in those particular matters, and making sure that you're filling up your own cup and understanding the spiritual values and the spiritual connections, and approaching it with optimism. They will give love back. Right, they do. Yeah, they give love back, most definitely. So making sure that you're not upset that no one is giving love back, right? The dog is man's best friend for that exact reason. Because you can depend on them to give you love back more than a human sometimes, right? But being disappointed about life and the goals that you have, and being easily discouraged, right, for this particular card, especially because it's born in June, that high mental variation about this particular card. And actually the next air sign would be, so it has the fire, so the other ruler of this particular sign would be Mars as well. So with this finances and investing their money into particular places and things as well, being disappointed upon losses or financial losses, and not finishing education as well. Make sure you're finishing your education, and after that, becoming a lecturer within a particular school of thought that you're in. Being someone that is well traveled and giving criticism or critique to other people within the fields of education, or becoming a debater as well. So also with that, the first part of that Gemini area also deals with memory loss. Okay, so with Geminis, a lot of times they do have to don't get disappointed with your Geminis who have issues with their memory, because one part of the Gemini deacon is issues with memory and having to overcome or find different ways, but definitely writing things out always helps with that. So that goes into practical uses of one's efforts and intuition, and being practical about the things that you're being educated in, philosophies, right? Because when it comes to philosophies and law, and that's basically what cardology is. It's a form of philosophy. It's a law. It's a form of divination. But all these particular rules are ruled by numbers and time, right? So once you go into these particular fields, it can become very debatable, because it can be based on the experience that someone may have. But it can be a very profitable business. They pay people to go to college and to find exact sciences around these things, right? So making sure that the Gemini to a Three of Spades doesn't find themselves lost in giving too much information, or lost into the debating side, but finding completion and purpose behind these particular art forms and educations. Okay, so I think I may have went longer than I may have intended, but that was almost a full reading. Hey. Somewhat, but there's definitely time and places for certain cards, and you yourself will be in a particular location or have a particular energy around you, or you can have this card around you maybe while you're in the room. But most definitely, thank you, and I would love to explore why you may have this energy, or you looking at this energy and how you may use it, okay, or challenges that you may be facing because you have this energy among you. So you may be going through a spiritual transformation. You may be going through trying to gain insight around or your job, or looking at employment, or having employment issues. If you're in a business, or looking at gaining other employees. So there's all these particular karmas around these cards. So it's very important for you to know the karmas and what karmas that may come up. You may have a 3 of Spades and Mercury. Someone may quit on you on the job, right? Or for your business. So looking at disputes within your environment as far as work relationships. These are all the things that this energy can come up, or you maybe you going into fields, or having an opportunity to be broadcasted onto a television, or you trying to come up with your own form of Clubhouse or Instagram, So, thank you. If you have any questions, just hit me up. If you have any questions, and you can definitely hit my PayPal, and I'll do a complete live on it, or a complete breakdown. All right. And if you cannot get a full reading, or do not want a full reading, donations would most definitely appreciated. You can hit my Instagram, and then if you do donate anything, make sure you hit my Instagram so I can answer your question or fulfill anything that you may need, or making sure that I'm actually giving you your money's worth, okay? So if you do a reading, or you want a reading, nothing is paid for until the day of the reading. I have a complete booking link. All donations are only through my PayPal, and if you want a reading, you have to book that. So I appreciate it, and if you have any questions, like I said, just hit me up, and enjoy your day.